The five element theory is one of my favorite theory in TCM. I love how each element can affect the other, and that's exactly how our body functions. So let's start with the emotions and wood or liver, which relates to anger. But it's not just anger. It's an array and a range of emotion that starts with impatience, frustration, becomes maybe irritability, and can be anger, and then of course at the other end of the spectrum, rage. So when someone is very frustrated all the time or very impatient or irritable with their children, it's just that they are probably stressed, which affects the liver, right? Or there is other causes, which we'll look at in a minute. When it comes to heart, of course, joy is the emotion of the heart, but we think, why is joy bad for us? It's not. When we are too excited too often, it's Christmas morning or we're going to Disneyland as a child, we can't sleep the night before. So, it's excitement can affect our sleep and other part of our body if it's continuous. And of course, anxiety, palpitation, panic attack can affect our heart as well. So that becomes a little bit more of a problem. And of course, a lot of people are affected by anxiety. So that's something that we're going to look at. Worry and overthinking affect the spleen and stomach, as we know, and sadness, grief, depression affects the lungs. So when people are depressed, we have to think that the lung is affected, but that won't be the only element affected because of the cause. The cause can be worry. If we worry too long, too much, we can get into a depressive state, right, where we feel like we can't get out of it. Of course, fear and shock are related to kidney. So fear can be irrational fear or rational fear, emotional shock or physical shock, right? Which can, of course, age us. So they are all affecting each other. And of course, in the other sequence, which is the controlling sequence, anger can generate some overthinking, right? We're angry with someone, really, really mad at someone, and we start overthinking it. I should have said this, I should have done this, I should, this. So obviously that is going to affect us, and we're going to overthink. Maybe we're even going to worry. Worry and overthinking definitely affects the kidney and age us. So worrying all the time definitely will affect the kidney. So look at that when someone are constantly worrying, right? Fear creates anxiety. It won't create too much excitement, but it can. If you look at people that are going on roller coasters or we're going to watch a scary movie just to get excited, it's great, but if it's constant, that eventually will affect our heart, and anxiety can set in as well. Anxiety can lead to depression, absolutely. If people are anxious all the time, they can get depressed, very sad, cry easily, maybe not tell everybody about it, but that will affect the lung as well. And then of course, when we are sad, because maybe we lost someone close to ourselves and that person was taken too early, we are angry as well, right? It's going to generate some anger. So let's look at some common sequence and emotion that affect each element. So one that's very common in the generating sequence is fear generating anger. When someone is fearful, they may be fearful they're going to lose their job. They may be fearful that they don't have enough money financially. They're in trouble. They can't support their family. And so they're going to get irritable. They're going to get impatient. They're going to get frustrated. And that's definitely a very common one. So when someone is irritable, frustrated, impatient, or maybe angry, let's look at the kidney and are they fearful? And do we need to tonify the mother, which means the kidney, in order for the liver to be better, right? So another one that's very common, obviously, it's worry generates depression. So often we feel depressed, and the lung is affected, but it comes from spleen and stomach, and specifically the worry and the overthinking, which can lead to depression. So let's address always the root of the problem and the cause. When we look at the controlling sequence, as I said earlier, sadness definitely can create anger. When again, someone lost their child and it was killed in a car accident. We're going to get angry at the person that was driving the other car, right? So anger is definitely something that really comes from sadness quite often. Also, worry creates fear, right? If you're worried so much about something, you're going to get scared. You're worried the plane is going to crash, and so when you are in the plane, you are fearful. You're scared to take a plane. Maybe you won't take a plane. You won't travel because you worry too much, right? So fear also, as I said earlier, creates anxiety. When we are fearful all the time, we are anxious. If a child is being bullied at school and is very fearful all the time, they're going to get anxious. And that's not good, right? So that's something that TCM can treat, go to the root of the problem, and address. And TCM has amazing results when it comes to mental health.